How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Timeless Movie Podcast, episode number 100. I cannot believe that we have gotten to 100 episodes already. We've talked about good movies, great movies, terrible movies at some points, but I'm super excited. I have the great guest, my brother, Mr. Ohm,
and you know
Mr. Every Five,
exactly.
the champ, the man.
Look, this is what's crazy about this. 100 every five.
Every five.
I didn't want to be on 100. It just happened to be 100. That's special.
That is special, man. And I thank you for coming on, man, to talk about this one. You know, I'm super excited.
What are we going to talk about?
Well,
Y2K?
Mr. Ohm, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you asked that question because, you know, we saw Y2K yesterday. We saw Moana 2. And me and Omar decided, you know what?
Nah.
It's December. It's Christmas time. Let's talk about timeless Christmas movies that Omar and I really appreciate and we would want you guys to watch during the month of December. So me and Omar are both, it's a twofer. You're not only getting one movie to talk about this episode, you're getting two movies, two recommendations. Mr. Ohm, what's your movie that you're going to be talking about today?
This might be obvious to everybody.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
I love it. Love it. Came out in 1990. My movie is going to be How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the year 2000. Directed by Ron Howard. Jim Carrey starring in it. So those are the two movies, guys, that we're going to be talking about it. We won't go into too much detail. We're just going to highlight our top things that we love about these movies, why we would consider them timeless in those ways. And then I have trivia, Omar, some fun facts. I got some funny reviews that I want you to hear about these two movies. And then we'll wrap things up and really just kind of look to the future for another 100 more, right, Mr. Ohm? Maybe getting Omar to come out not every five. Every episode.
That'll never happen.
Okay. Well, I gave it a shot.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and dive in. Again, guys, for anybody that has not seen Home Alone or How the Grinch Stole Christmas, spoiler warning, if you have not seen these two movies, we might highlight some things. Again, me and Omar will just talk about three of our favorite things about each movie. Omar, feel free to jump into mine segment. I'll jump into yours and agree or disagree if you want to. But I'll kick things off. Mr. Ohm, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I always seen the animated one. It was always like a short 20, 30 minute.
Wait, you watched that one before?
Yeah. We'd watch it. Sometimes it'd come out on TV, like Channel 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember watching it ever.
You don't remember watching it? Oh, man.
I don't think you watched it.
I did. I did watch it. I did watch it.
Or just saying that for the show?
No. This is real.
Oh.
we watched it.
I don't remember watching the whole thing. Maybe.
It's only 20 minutes.
Oh.
Huh. Either way. I'd only seen that animated one when it was Christmas time coming out on TV. And then in 2000, you have the Ron Howard directed movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's a Universal movie. So me and Omar even have more history with it because when we go to the studio tour, they'd always talk about the backlot. They'd always talk about how crazy this movie, how much it took to build these sets and stuff like that. So when I first watched it, I just fell in love with Jim Carrey's performance. I thought just him being the Grinch was just so awesome. And just because of how wacky and how crazy he is in his performances, it just it just worked for me. So I really enjoyed the movie. But Mr. O, I'm gonna run through some of my top things that I really enjoyed about How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Why I consider these three moments are probably the funniest things to me, but why they also are timeless. And then again, feel free to let me know if there's anything that I may have missed because I'm pretty sure I will. But for me, Mr. O, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I kind of mentioned it before. Jim Carrey is the star of that show. He's like everything that he is involved in every scene is hilarious. So basically these three moments are all with him. My first favorite moment, and these are not in any other order, but if I was to recommend somebody to watch this movie during Christmas, it would be these three things. First one is the scene in the movie, Omar, where when the Grinch is in his lair and he's talking to himself and he has the echoes. I think to me, that scene still to this day after watching the movie, I want to say maybe more than 10 times already in my life. Maybe that's too much or maybe that's too little. I don't know.
I think that's too little.
Too little?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I don't know.
But the scene where he's in his lair, Mr. O, when he's talking to himself and then he goes and he starts talking and just yelling things out. And then he goes, I'm an idiot. And then you just hear the echo, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. to this day, I know that it's coming and it's so good like that. And again, it just goes to the performance of Jim Carrey and how just ridiculous it is, but also the dialogue, a lot of the things. And this isn't really a fun fact, but I just wanted, I was going to include it, but I feel like it's common knowledge, but Jim Carrey obviously ad-libbed and improvised so many of the lines in the movie. That there's like various ones. Like there's the one where in his lair. Do you remember when he's like looking at his scheduler and he goes like, dinner at 6:30 with myself. I can't cancel again.
Yeah.
And it was like that was like an improvised line. So he just has so many of these things like that are so witty. But I don't know. It just made me picture like this is the Grinch to me. Like this is what I think of when I see like the Grinch or hear about the Grinch. I don't think about the Dr. Seuss book in any way, but or the animated one. I think of Jim Carrey and these kind of performances. But
Yeah.
that scene where like the echo is playing off of himself is just top notch, man. It's funny. That's one of my moments there. Second one that I have is when after the Grinch is kind of stealing Christmas already, or like kind of ruining Christmas and their Whoville party. There's that moment, Omar, where he goes to the town and he basically tries to steal the car, like the mini car.
Yeah.
And he ends up like, I was like, excuse me. And he's like, goes through the zone. There's like the mini people or mini Who's. And then all of it leading up to him kind of crashing into the car. And then that car, like basically, it's literally a remote control car like that. He's no business being on that car. And it just basically explodes into like a humongous explosion that can be seen like from far away of Whoville. So, oh man, it's just those things like that. And to me, and I think this times up really well, Mr. Rome, of me and Omar just watching Y2K. It's supposed to be a comedy like that. They did a lot of things that to me weren't funny. That like a lot of it just kind of passed by. And it's just so funny to me that you make a movie that's kind of geared towards kids. And it's just humor that's like very kiddish like that. Like, why would a small car blow up with like a humongous, like almost nuclear explosion like that? But it just works as a funny joke.
Look, but I never understand like why humor is like broken down into like, oh, this is for kids, or this is dark humor, or this is whatever. Humor is humor. If it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be geared toward anybody. Like, let's say SpongeBob,
Yeah.
That's like a kid's show. But it has some of the funniest jokes I've ever heard in my life.
Yep.
Or some of the funniest scenes I've ever heard. Like I feel like you don't have to like just because the Grinch is supposed to be a kids movie, or if a joke is simple or like dumb, that doesn't matter. It's still funny.
Yeah.
It still works.
And dude, it delivered for me. And there's just so many good jokes like that in this entire movie. Again, that whole explosion was just some of like the top kind of moments that happened within the film. And then if I had to recommend another kind of top moment for me, Omar, that like just kind of sticks out, is always going to be the montage of when he's actually stealing Christmas. He's dressed up as Santa. He's going house to house, taking all this stuff. You hear the classic song of "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," and then you have the montage of his face kind of passing by the screen, and it's just him going, and like even the cat, Omar, the cat having its own like moment in the montage of that, of like attacking him various times throughout that montage. Is like, it just works, man. Like it's just such a funny movie.
Yeah.
Also has musical parts in it too. So it's like, again, like there's like a lot of music involved with the film, but I don't know. Everything about it just makes it feel like one of those movies that, again, my number one Christmas movie, which is why I wanted to recommend it to people watch it. It's just so awesome. If you live anywhere near LA, also, Universal Studios has Grinchmas, so it's all Grinchmas themed. I already told Omar that I feel like going as well, but these three kind of are just like the top moments. There's obviously a lot of different types of scenes and funny moments and lines that Jim Carrey says as the Grinch, but if again, those are the kind of three recommendations of like, I would really want people to sit down and watch this during Christmas, just because again, it has everything. The music, has the trees, everything that you would expect of the season of Christmas, but also with those funny jokes, that always land. So those are my kind of top three moments. Mr. Rome, I don't know if you agree, disagree, or have any other kind of things that pop out to you of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Well, this is why it will never be my number one Christmas movie.
Oh, tell me.
It takes place in a snowflake.
Yeah.
I can't... can't like relate to that,
just because you don't live in a snowflake or what?
Yeah. Doesn't Christmas to you feel like home?
Yeah.
Or like homey, or like in a familiar place, like with family or something? A snowflake feels like the most least home I could think of,
Don't you think of snow when you think of Christmas though? Snowflakes.
Yeah,
are,
but
essentially build up to become snow as well,
It's also never snowed ever for us.
That's true. In LA, yes. Yeah. That's a good point. But we've seen snow though, and we've been to places that have snow. So
the point is, I like the movie, but it's never gonna be top,
So because it's in a snowflake.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you, Mr. Rome, have you ever seen those videos of when they show the Earth and then they start showing you like how small we are?
Yeah. And that's
don't you feel that?
and that makes it feel worse.
Shouldn't you relate? Because we're exactly in that same position, except
But
not in the
during,
sofa.
I don't want to know that during Christmas, all right? During Christmas, I want to feel comforted and like I want to feel like this is it, you know. I don't want to know how small I really am.
Yeah, dude, that should just.
I can feel that any time any other time during the year. I don't want to feel it during Christmas. That's the only problem. Yeah.
You want to feel real like that. You want to feel like, yeah, this is I'm living in the moment.
Yeah,
right here.
like this is
This is the best it's gonna get.
I'm the main character. This is yeah.
I love it. All right, so that's what's keeping you from being your number one. I have a comment for your movie too, but I'll wait until the end.
Okay.
Well, Omar, I'll go ahead and let you kind of have the floor. Mr. Rome, talk a little bit about those top moments of Home Alone for you and why you would recommend it as a timeless Christmas movie.
My first top moment is when Kevin, he's like he goes to the church because he overheard the burglars wanting to break into his house.
Yeah.
They're like, we're coming back at 9:00, and he's like, 9:00. He goes to church, and he talks to the old man. Finally, the old man he's scared of, and then after he gives him like a little motivational speech, Carol of the Bells starts playing, and I get chills during that scene because he runs home. He's all motivated, and he's like, this is my house. I have to defend it.
Woo! It's a pretty good.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin impression. I like it.
Yeah, I always like that because that's like the movie's usually like funny and lighthearted, and right there it kind of gets serious, and even the old man shares a story about how he doesn't talk to his son anymore.
Yeah,
that's pretty deep for this movie, you know.
Considering that it's like meant to, you would think of Home Alone as like more of like a comedy movie like that, but it still has that heart, you know. It's still,
and that's why it's also like my favorite Christmas movie because it's funny, so it's like a movie you could just play whenever.
Yeah.
It doesn't get like too deep, but then like it does have those deep moments. Like there's a big family theme in the movie.
Yeah.
Like how important family is. Because like when I think of Christmas, I think of that, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's my favorite movie because it has like that family theme, it has the Christmas songs, and that's also my second top moment. I feel like the songs are always perfectly placed in the movie.
Yep.
Exactly like the tone of the scene, and then like right when the song comes on, I think it always works.
It sets the right tone.
It sets the right tone for the scene that they're doing. Like when they play White Christmas, when he's shaving and when he's puts the aftershave on. Yeah. Like that song is fun because he's starting to figure out how to be alone. Mm-hmm. Or when he's doing a fake party, trying to confuse the wet bandits, and it plays "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree."
Yep.
Or like, or
even Carol of the Bells too. Like Carol of the
Bells.
Like, it just motivates you. Like he's gonna have to protect his house in any way possible. You know, setting up booby traps. Or
like when the mom heads back, she's deciding to leave her family on Christmas to go back home, and it plays that one song.
It's not Run Run Rudolph, right? That's when they're getting to the.
That's another good one though.
That's another when they're barely trying to make it to their flight.
Make it to the flight because they're late.
Yeah.
Or the song I'm thinking about where it's like bells will be ringing.
Oh yeah.
It's like a sad Christmas song.
Yeah.
I feel like it has the best Christmas music in the movie.
I'll give you that. Yeah, it has better Christmas music than The Grinch, you know, even though The Grinch still has some good ones, right?
Yeah.
You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is, you know, all-timer.
Well, you already mentioned that one.
I know, but I just got to mention it again just in case anybody didn't catch the first time.
Or because there's no other one.
No. There's also Cindy Lou.
Oh, yeah, that one's good.
It goes, Where are you, Christmas? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that one's good.
I didn't think we were going to be singing on this and like that, but we're actually singing. You know,
that's
singing
part of the
concept.
Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
And I guess my third favorite moment has to be literally any scene with Marv or Harry. Because, dude, I think they're the funniest part of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Their interactions. Like, Harry is telling Marv what they could steal from the houses, and it's like, yeah, it probably has a bunch of gems and jewels. And Marv's like, toys? And there's like little lines like that.
Yeah.
Are always funny. Or when they're finally chasing Kevin through the house, and Kevin goes like on a zip line to the treehouse, and they go out the window, and he's like, "Where'd he go?" And Marv was like, "Maybe he committed suicide." So just any scene with them two is one of my best moments from the movie.
Yeah. It's always so cool, like, to see, like, and it's like a common theme too, like, where sometimes when you watch these types of movies, or like even in movies that aren't even Christmas related, sometimes the villain is the most intriguing part of these stories, right? Like the Grinch starting off as the antagonist, like Marvin, Harry, like that are the antagonists, but like they're always the ones with like the funniest lines, the scenes with like the most funny joke, and
I feel like getting Joe Pesci probably the best decision ever, because this is a guy who's like, he always comes out like in those like Martin Scorsese movies,
gangster movies, and
this is a kids movie, and then putting him in the kids movie, but having him play almost the same character, like a tough guy character. Yep, it just works, because the theme, the whole tone of the movie is completely different, but that character is the same, so it's a good. It makes it even funnier.
Yeah, love it, Mr. Rome. You know what's the reason why Home Alone isn't timeless for me?
Let's see, huh?
Is because he's having dinner. And he has a nice fresh bowl of mac and cheese.
All right.
And he prays. And he says, thank you for this delicious food. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to protect my house. Yeah. And he just leaves it there.
And then the clock strikes 9.
And he just leaves the mac and cheese right there. Why'd you heat it up?
He wanted a little snack before he defended his house.
That's the one thing that's keeping me from, and that's like a negative against Kevin like that. Like, come on, man.
That's an even bigger positive for me.
Leaving the mac and cheese?
Yeah, man, because I don't like mac and cheese. So good job, Kevin.
Anyway, man, those are our thoughts, guys. Like, again, those are just top 3 moments. Me and Omar can probably keep going and talk about all the movies like that, but we don't want to kind of flood in the podcast with all the talking about the entire plot. So let us know down below, though. Of YouTube comments, if you're listening to it on YouTube, let us know, what are your top moments of Home Alone and How Did the Grinch Stole Christmas? Which one do you prefer? Which one is more timeless for you? Or maybe neither. What is your favorite timeless Christmas movie? Let us know down below in the comments. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, let us know in the reviews down below if you like the episode, and if you also enjoy either of these movies, or if you have your own favorite Christmas movie as well. Mr. Rome, any other kind of final thoughts on Home Alone, on How the Grinch Stole Christmas, anything of that nature? Anything else you want to let people know about these films?
No, I think people know all they should know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Mr. Rome, I wanted to, before we kind of wrap things up, had a couple of fun things that I want to do about these 2 movies. And first one is go through some of the trivia that I kind of pulled out. There's a lot of trivia. I mean, Home Alone, 1990. So we've experienced this movie for already kind of 34 years. And then How the Grinch Stole Christmas came out in 2000, so already 20 years. So these films have sometimes a lot of different types of trivia, but I only try to pull some things that would hopefully try to surprise you in some kind of way. So let me go ahead and pull up some of the trivia here that I have, and I'll start with How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Mr. Rome, first one that I want to throw out your way is, if you remember, there's a scene where the Grinch is directing his dog Max. And he's basically, he puts on like a director's hat, and he's got a director's chair, and he's like, and Max has like a red nose, or like he has something in regards to like a reindeer. And then as they're doing that to kind of steal Christmas, apparently Jim Carrey did this scene in order to make fun of the producer and the director, Ron Howard, imitating his style of directing. And then Howard thought that this fun scene was so hilarious that he ended up deciding to include it in the movie. Jim Carrey just basically tried to do all that with the dog, just to kind of make it seem like, hey, I'm like making fun of the director, and they ended up including it in the scene. So I thought that was pretty cool, like that. Like that he's trying to making fun of the director a little bit, and then ended up making it the final cut of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
That's funny.
Just to start off, man.
Oh,
can't start off with the really good
appetizer.
Yeah, just a little appetizer.
All right.
Because I can tell you can't see Omar's face, but he didn't look too pleased with that one.
That was all right.
Next one, Mr. Rome. Jim Carrey spent 92 days in the Grinch makeup, spending 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour in the evening to get it off. According to Carrey, he became a Zen master while sitting in the makeup chair, but also he said that apparently people said that he was really hard to work with, because when he first put on the makeup and all the stuff for
irritated.
The Grinch, he felt like he was being buried alive. So that's nuts.
I've heard that before, or even how the contacts were burning his eyes.
Yep.
That must be tough.
Yeah. Which is crazy now, because now I think in movies, because of technology, now that you don't even have to have contact lenses. I think they could just do it in post-production where they just change the colors. But that's one of the other trivia moments here. Number 3, Mr. Rome, for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. No movie other than this has featured so many characters in heavy makeup and costumes since
Let me guess.
the Wizard of Oz. Were you gonna guess the Wizard of Oz?
No.
Oh. So since 1939, like when the Wizard of Oz first released, this has probably been the next film with the most production on makeup and costumes and things of that nature. So pretty nuts, considering that me and Omar just recently watched Wicked, and Omar was talking about rewatching The Wizard of Oz. So thought that one was like a little fun to kind of add that one in. But it is crazy how things have changed, huh? Where like now because of, visual effects, CGI, a lot of sets aren't like actually produced and created. It's all kind of like green screens or like a volume screen that kind of shows you everything. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Like I hope more films kind of go back into that style of like building out things like Wicked did, where a lot of the sets were built, everything was real.
That's what's weird, because like everybody can agree that practical looks better.
Mm-hmm.
But why is there so much reliance on CGI?
Yeah, easier maybe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe make it more crisp like that, less work to having to draw out the different types of sets that they make. Who knows, man? But that's another one, Mr. Rome. I got another one for you here, though. This one says, How the Grinch Stole Christmas was the highest grossing Christmas movie since
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
So coincidence that we talk about Home Alone and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and those are two of some of the most highest grossing Christmas movies of all time as well. So again, just don't take our word for it. People went to go watch it, 1990 and 2000. I mean, come on. I mean, actually, you know what? That's one of the things that I've been meaning to tell you, though, is that as of recently, though, I can't think of a great Christmas movie that we watched recently.
Because there is none.
You have like Red One, or you have like these like different Christmas movies, or even like they animated the Grinch. Like they had like that new animated Grinch movie, and it's like nothing hits now, Nothing. There's no comedy kind of a style of Christmas like Jingle All the Way or things like that. Like there's nothing that comes out that's like really hits. So it's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Mr. Rome, trivia number 5. For a while, Tim Burton was considered directing The Grinch, but could not due to conflicts with another movie. So I wanted to throw it your way like that. Imagine if Tim Burton would have directed The Grinch. He would have done like Beetlejuice, like very like kind of like these production sets. But I'm also thinking, what if he would have asked Michael Keaton to be the Grinch, or like one of his other or Johnny Depp or something like that, like people that he collaborates with like that. It would have been interesting to kind of see like who he would have asked to be the Grinch in that kind of a film. But yeah, just to throw it out there as like an additional tidbit. Apparently there was names that were rotated, like Robin Williams, Jack Nicholson, different like actors like that, before they landed on Jim Carrey being the one that ended up being the Grinch. So, but yeah, man, crazy how
that's crazy.
Like how Tim Burton could have been attached to that project too.
I feel like that if his movie wouldn't have felt like Christmas.
I was gonna say if it would have felt like a dark Christmas, like something like not like you said, there wouldn't be anything like magical about it, like
like homey feeling.
No music. I don't know, but it would have been really interesting. But Mr. Home, last one that I have for How the Grinch Stole Christmas is the Whoville set was built mostly on the backlot of Universal Studios. But Omar, it says during a break in the filming, Jim Carrey surprised and scared tourists on the Universal Backlot tour by running out of the hotel wearing a dress and a knife, trying to scare people like that. Have they mentioned that in the studio tour when we've done it? Like, if they ever mentioned like that, it was.
I don't remember that.
Jim Carrey doing it or not?
I don't remember.
Well, he was there like that, and he ended up scaring like people, and then now they have Patrick Bateman as part of the base motel trying to scare people. So I wonder if he came up with the idea in any way. But yeah, man, just wanted to throw that one out there as another little tidbit of trivia for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. What'd you think, Omar, overall of this trivia?
Like out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10.
It was a solid 6.
Yeah. Hey.
Because personally, I'm not a trivia fan.
True. You don't care about the stuff that goes, making and behind the scenes of movies.
Unless it's like really, really, really interesting.
Well, you're about to see some interesting stuff
go.
about Home Alone right here. Mr. Rome, I got some trivia for you for your timeless movie, Home Alone. Came out in 1990, Mr. Rome. First trivia I have for you. Many of the shots that focus on Kevin in the beginning of the movie are filmed above his head, making him seem small and helpless. At the end of the movie, Kevin is mostly shot from below, making him seem taller and more confident.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy like that when you don't think about the styles of like how they film like that, the characters, and like now like when you rewatch it again, or anybody listening, like when you rewatch it, you'll notice that little tidbit. Like, oh man, at the end when he's going up to carol the bells, running back to his home, confident.
He's a giant.
Exactly. Mr. Rome, second trivia tidbit here. In the scene where Kevin walks past the driveway just as Harry and Marv are driving down it, and stops in time before hitting him.
It's reversed.
You knew that already. Oh, I was hoping you didn't know that. But yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, it was achieved by having Macaulay Culkin walk backwards, and the van was driven in reverse away from him. And some stagehands would shake the van for the dramatic effect of him stopping. The film was then shown backwards. So you knew that already. When did you know that?
Well, I rewatch the movie every year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember when, but I always noticed that his mouth opened weird in that scene. Like
Nice.
It was a weird way he opened his mouth.
Yeah.
And I realized, it's probably reverse because you can't stop a truck that close to a kid, Too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I just kind of assumed it was reversed.
Nice,
but
dude.
now I know it's a fact.
Good call. Those are, again, for me, that I'm a person that does like the behind the scenes, and I like to know how they do some of those types of scenes and like effects. So I thought that was cool. It's like genius, like showing the film backwards. And I never paid attention to his mouth, like what he was doing. So to me, it all felt like normal. It's like, damn, that you have to have like nice, really good precision to like not have to hit this kid. But now knowing that they just went in reverse, so I was like, okay. But I thought that was cool.
Movie magic.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Rome, third one. The movie that Kevin watches on videotape is not a real movie, but footage specifically created. It was called Angels with Filthy Souls, along with other similar era references in the movie. This is in play on the Angels with Dirty Faces, which is a real movie. So just wanted to throw that your way because, and also just side note, me and Omar recently had a conversation randomly about TV shows and movies that have movies that aren't real and how they should make those types of movies. So I thought this one was funny to include, of like how that movie and that scene of like you filthy animal like wasn't even a real movie, but I thought that was cool to include.
They should make that movie and get that same actor because he talks funny.
It's a very interesting voice. All right, Mr. Trump, another one that I have here for you is the poster and video box image of Kevin with his hands on his face screaming was improvised by Macaulay Culkin. Apparently, he says that he had forgotten to pull his hands away as he screamed, because that was in the script. He was meant to just pull his hands away. Obviously, ended up becoming one of the most famous shots in movie history. But didn't know if you knew that one like that, but wanted to throw that one your way.
Nice job, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Number 6, Mr. Rome, I wanted to ask you before I say this one. Do you know who composed the music for Home Alone?
Yes.
John Williams. So John Williams stepped in when the original composer backed out. So it says here, the filmmakers jokingly suggested Williams, even though they never thought that they could get him. But after he saw an early cut of the movie, he was enchanted and happily stepped in. Ooh. So, man, and this kind of goes back to one of Omar's highlights or pros of Home Alone is how the music just kind of hits, and it makes sense. I mean, John Williams is a master.
Yeah.
And so he just curated every specific scene to have that right type of music that hits. So
yeah, and I forgot to mention that. Like, you have John Williams scoring the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That just elevates your film even further. So, Mr. Rome, last trivia tidbit that I have here. I hope you've been enjoying these at least more than How the Grinch Stole Christmas, even though
I have been.
Okay. Last one I have here, Mr. Rome, is the movie is considered a traditional Christmas movie in Poland.
What?
It has aired on national television during the prime time Christmas season every year since 1990. In 2010, the movie was scheduled not to air in Poland, but was broadcast after over 90,000 people protested in 2011.
There you go.
The movie aired on December 23rd with an audience of over 5 million people, making it the most popular show aired during the Christmas season in Poland.
There you
I
go.
thought that one was super random, but super hilarious,
If any Polish people are listening, I'm with you.
I'll sign the petition as well, even though it's already done, dude. It's already.
But they agree with me. Best Christmas movie ever.
Well, Mr. Rome, those were the trivia of Home Alone. Without including any of your bias, because it's already your timeless movie, what did you rank this trivia here?
This is like an 8.
Nice. That's good, man.
But that is including my bias, so I can't really take that out.
All right, Mr. Rome, to wrap this up, let's go through some funny reviews that I was able to pull off for both movies.
All right.
We did this a little bit in episode 85 when we were talking about Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I thought it was fun, so I included some of these for both of these movies. Let's start off with my timeless movie for Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Here's some reviews, Mr. Rome. The Washington Post. It's not Christmas that's being stolen here. It's the spirit of Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
Wow. That's brutal. No, Dr. Seuss would be proud of what Jim Carrey was able to pull off, and Ron Howard as well.
So this reviewer thinks he
ruined Christmas, basically, is what Washington Post is saying.
He's a Dr. Seuss expert.
Yeah, or maybe he loved the books growing up like that, and he feels like it, just completely dismantled and just put a bad name to Dr. Seuss.
Oh yeah.
Well, Washington Post.
That was it. That was the only review?
That's it. That's the one line. That's it.
Damn.
Yeah, you're wrong, Washington Post. All right, next one, Mr. Rome. Variety here says, shrill, strenuous, and entirely without charm. Ron Howard's attempt at a Christmas classic is an elaborately wrapped empty box that will fool many people into buying it, but it will not greatly please its recipients.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that I've been pleased every single year I've watched it. I've enjoyed that movie so much, and again, I don't know where the shrill and strenuous.
But why do these reviews sound so like
they're very hurtful?
What do they want? Is this to get views or to get clicks?
Most likely.
Or do they actually feel this upset over the Grinch?
Or do they not like Ron Howard or Jim Carrey? I don't know.
Maybe.
But think of, again, this is the year 2000. Gotta have that mentality, right? We already had the internet just a little bit, but this is all newspaper, all clicks, So, or not clicks, more all articles. So next one, Mr. Rome, New York Times. So clogged with kooky gadgetry and special effects and glitter and goo that watching it feels like it's being gridlocked at Toys R Us during the Christmas rush.
Toys R Us. He probably went at Toys R Us the day before writing that.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And one of the reasons why I wanted to include that is because it reminded me of Toys R Us and how much I miss it. So I was like, God.
He had a bad experience at Toys R Us and he still couldn't get over it.
And he's like, you know what?
This movie feels like Toys R Us.
How can I bring these two worlds together, So New York Times, you're way off. Toys R Us, even if it was gridlocked with a lot of traffic, it's still the best place to be. Don't you miss it, man?
And you know what? That actually kind of gives you some insight because when you're a kid, Toys R Us is cool no matter how full or empty it is, And he's complaining about Toys R Us, but the movie is meant for not for kids, but it's you gotta watch it with the intention of this is for
just to have fun, maybe.
You're your inner kid, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a good one like that. To please that inner kid like that.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, man.
Because Toys R Us, you're excited with Toys R Us no matter how full it is.
Sounds like New York Times never got the toys that they wanted for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? At Toys R Us, never got the toy that they were asking.
Somebody was on the naughty list.
Somebody got cold. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, New York Times, you blew it. All right, next one, Mr. Rome, is
that review was not timeless.
Nice. Maybe that's how we should call this one, huh? Not timeless reviews.
That's pretty good.
That is good, dude. I like this. Mr. Rome, another article here from Slate. Never even heard of them.
I've heard of Slate.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they still exist?
I think so.
Oh, well, here's what they have to say. Profoundly unnecessary, cluttered, padded even at 90 minutes, indifferently narrated by Anthony Hopkins, and consistently misdirected by Ron Howard. Dude, I think you have a point. They're taking shots, and I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like these shots. I mean, I also forgot. I was going to include a little tidbit for Anthony Hopkins narrating the film like that. But he did all of his narration in one day.
Damn.
So he's a beast. So, but I didn't appreciate this comment here. Indifferently narrated by Anthony Hopkins and then misdirected by Ron Howard. Come on. You gotta get personal, It's Christmas.
Every review during Christmas should be positive.
All right, Mr. Rome. Next one. LA Weekly, our hometown.
Let's see.
This new feature has replaced the original's benevolence, taste, and wit with cynicism, armpit humor, and manic, desperately unfunny padding. Never heard of armpit humor, but I'm assuming that they're thinking about the farts when you go like that.
Different times,
Yeah.
Because that humor works now.
Yeah, exactly.
That humor couldn't work whenever the original Grinch came out.
Exactly. But it works now. It worked in 2000, and it still works now for me as well.
Yeah.
So those are some of the reviews, Mr. Rome. All these reviews were not timeless, so yeah, I mean, good to laugh at and good to look back. Now let's go in our time machines, man. Let's go back a little further. Let's go to 1990. Let's hear some reviews for Home Alone. Mr. Rome, before I even tell you some of these, what do you think they're going to be like? You think they're going to be like, it's a kid's movie, comedy, Christmas? You think they're going to be like as mean like that as?
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. Well, there's only 3 here. So I should already tell you that there's not too much negativity here. I'll start with the Austin Chronicle. Home Alone is the apex, the pinnacle, the culmination of every bad bit Hughes has ever written or directed. It overflows with primitive, disastrously unfunny sight gags and neo-hateful familiar humor. Whoa.
I found the entire movie funny. I don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, especially when he says like disastrously unfunny. There's
That's
so
crazy.
many moments like that. There's so many moments that you laugh at. Like you said, either Marvin, Harry, whatever they're saying. Even Kevin has some funny lines.
Kevin has funny
It's
lines. His brother has funny lines.
Dude, how do you not laugh when he's taking home the groceries and you're thinking, damn, this guy's already like acting like an adult and it all falls.
Or
Like, gosh.
Or like Buzz when they're in France and he's like, A, Kevin's this. 2, Kevin's this. And D, like he's like all over the place. I don't know how you can't find this stuff funny.
I don't know, dude. It's weird. But Austin Chronicles, they're way off on this one. Michelle, let's move over to Chicago. The Chicago Reader here. They have
this is where Kevin's from. This is where the McAllisters are from.
You would think that they have a lot of appreciation for this story like that. And it takes place in their city. Well, here's what they said, Mr. Ohm. The movie is quite enjoyable as long as it explores the fantasy of a neglected little boy having an entire house on his own to explore and play in. But physical cruelty that dominates the last act leaves a sour taste, and the multiple continuity errors strain one's suspension of disbelief to near breaking point.
I want to know what the continuity errors are.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, like, I don't know, like, what continuity errors they're, like, talking about. Like, either, I don't know, like, what happens, like, I don't know, with between him and the old man, or, like, him and, like, his interactions with Marv and Harry. Like, I don't know what he means by that.
Continuity, maybe.
Like, something just doesn't, like, a plot hole that just doesn't make sense, but, like...
It could be, like, when he calls the police from the other house. No, wait. That happens to the end.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was kind of expecting, like, a review to mention, like, the violence.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's always going to be a criticism from any, like, I don't know, uptight parent.
But you think it's because it's a kid's movie. So then they're like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Or you think that, like, because of this movie, people got more invested in, like, or kids thinking that they can get more invested in building booby traps and things like that. So,
you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened back then.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, Mr. Rome, last one here that I have for Home Alone reviews. This one's from Empire. It says, so it may not be Citizen Kane.
I thought we're starting this review. Okay.
So it may not be Citizen Kane, but it is a hilarious comedy. Although not a very believable one, there can be no 8-year-olds this ingenious that kids will love and adults won't mind sitting through either.
Oh, really? I think no 8-year-olds can't do that?
Well, this actually brings up a bigger point, Omar, that I wanted to talk about is he brings up that no 8-year-old can be this smart like that, right? But what's one complaint that you've told me recently about kids or teens in movies that, like, they have almost all the answers. They have these replies that are like, oh, like they're already like the smartest in their kind of area or school or situation. And so I was going to bring that up. I
said that?
Yeah, remember you've told me, like, or like at least implied, like when we watch like MCU, like when we're talking about like Scott Lang's daughter. Or, you know, like you see all these teen characters, like, or these adults like
they
that.
They have like good comebacks.
They have good comebacks. They know everything already, even though they're at a very young age. When you're thinking, like, at 12 years old, like, would you really have that? Like, would you have that knowledge already? And so, I don't know. I wanted to bring that up like that because I know that you've kind of brought that up before. It was like some characters, like, just like, how do you know that already like that? Like, how can you really be that? Kids can't really be that smart. Like, I'll bring up a good point when we watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Leia, like that. Leia already had all the answers like that. And she, like, again, the little girl did great for her performance. But, I mean...
It's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so again, going back, like, you know, what's that perfect balance, right? Like, how do you land, like,
I think
having a kid not be, like, the smartest and know-it-all, everything like that. But
here's the difference. Kevin could do all that stuff at the end because he earned it. He didn't know how to do all that stuff in the beginning. Mm-hmm. He didn't know how to live by himself in the beginning. Like, he was eating, like, ice cream for dinner.
Yeah.
So by the end of the movie, Kevin's earned the right to do unbelievable stuff, rather than like shows where he watched like Obi-Wan Kenobi, where Leia just automatically knows how to be stealthy and since the beginning. I think your characters have to earn it, obviously. Yeah. But that's one of the best parts of the movie. So I don't know.
Yeah. Ridiculous, man. But that's it, man. There's more hate towards How the Grinch Stole Christmas than there was, at least so far from what I've seen from Home Alone. I don't care what the haters say. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is timeless.
It is. I agree. It is timeless.
There we go.
That's the second movie I would watch most during Christmas.
Nice. Hey, right back at you, man. Home Alone would be the second one. Well, guys, those are our thoughts about Home Alone and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of listening to our banter in regards to these two movies. Go check them out. They're probably on streaming services. On Disney Plus, you'll probably find Home Alone, and I think wherever they show either Universal movies, maybe on Peacock, maybe where you can rent them on any other kind of services. But How the Grinch Stole Christmas is also on there. Check those movies out. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, let us know in the reviews, in the comments, what are your favorite Christmas movies? Again, it's the Christmas holiday season. Let us know, again, what are those movies that you always watch during the month of December? Guys, hope you guys enjoyed episode 100. A little bit different. Wanted to make that one a little bit special. And I wanted to say one last thing is, thanks so much to anybody that's ever listened to the podcast, even if you've only clicked on it and listened to a couple seconds, or if you listened for a minute, however long. Appreciate you guys. Again, it's been really fun kind of talking to this. I'm glad that I got Omar to at least join me every 5 episodes.
It sounds like a thankful speech.
Yeah, it is a thankful speech. Yeah.
Why don't you do this for the Thanksgiving episode?
That's actually a good call. That would have been more of like a grateful, I guess it's the same thing, but yeah, you're right. I kind of missed that. I don't even know what we talked about for Thanksgiving. But
I don't think you did an episode for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, probably not. I was actually sick for Thanksgiving, so either way, thanks to everybody that's listened. This is only the beginning. It's only 100 episodes. We got plenty of more movies to go. We're not even done. Omar, we're not done with 2024.
Nope.
We got Lord of the Rings coming up. We got Nosferatu. Most importantly, Mr. Old, we got Craven. Just like watch. I'm trying to convince Omar to watch Craven with me, but it might not happen. But Omar, thank you so much, man, for joining me, not only for episode 100, but all the previous episodes as well.
It's been fun.
I cannot wait to talk to you about, again, all of our top movies for 2024. We're going to announce some of our timeless awards. That'll be something new that we do on this channel as well. But again, guys, appreciate you guys joining us on episode 100 of the Timeless Movie Podcast. It has been Omar Vasquez and Victor Vasquez. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the month of December. We'll talk to you guys later, and thanks so much.